There is something happening in your energy field right now that you did not plan, did not schedule, and did not manufacture with your thinking mind. Something that was set in motion long before this moment, long before you found this video, long before you typed whatever you typed, or clicked whatever you clicked that led you here. And if you are the kind of person who notices things, who feels the invisible currents beneath the surface of ordinary life, who has always sensed that there is more happening than what the eye can measure, then you already know what I am about to say, because some part of you has been preparing for it. Tonight, a portal opens. Not a metaphor, not a poetic flourish, a genuine, measurable quantum-level threshold, a convergence of conditions in the field of reality itself that creates a window of amplified access to the deepest layers of your own radiance. These windows are real. They are documented in the physics of electromagnetic resonance, in the ancient traditions of energy work that mapped the field of human consciousness long before modern science had the instruments to confirm what those traditions already knew. And they are rare. Not every moment carries this quality of openness. Not every night offers this depth of access. But tonight does. And here is what I want you to understand before we go any further. The fact that you are here in this moment, receiving this transmission, that is not an accident. Your energy field drew this to you. Your aura, which has been broadcasting a signal every moment of your life, has been carrying a frequency that resonates with exactly this kind of opening. You were drawn here because something in you is ready. Something in your field has reached a coherence level that makes this portal not just available to you, but specifically, personally, relevant to your path. You are, in the deepest quantum sense of the word, chosen. And before that word makes you uncomfortable, before the part of you that was taught to be small and quiet and not to claim too much starts to back away from what I just said, I want you to stay with me. Because chosen does not mean what most people think it means. It does not mean selected by an external authority and given special privileges while others are left out. Chosen, in the quantum sense, in the language of energy fields and resonance, and the way reality actually assembles itself around a signal, means something far more personal, far more precise, and far more empowering than that. It means your frequency matched the frequency of this moment. It means your aura has been building toward this threshold. It means the signal you have been broadcasting, consciously or not, has been calling this exact kind of opening toward you. And now it has arrived. The question is not whether you are chosen. The question is whether you are going to be conscious for it. So let us begin. Let us go all the way into what is happening in your energy field right now. What this portal actually is at the quantum level. What it means that you are here for it. And most importantly, what you are going to do with it. Because a portal without a conscious radiator on the other side is just an opening. What makes it transformational is you, awake, aware, and actively working with your own field to receive what this threshold is making available. Your light is on. It has always been on. Tonight, we are going to turn up the voltage. Let us start with the science, because your aura deserves to be understood in real terms, not just felt, not just believed, but known. The electromagnetic field generated by your heart is the most powerful, rhythmic electromagnetic field in the human body. The HeartMath Institute has measured this field extending several feet beyond the surface of your skin in every direction. Not inches. Feet. You are not contained by your skin. You are not the boundary that your body appears to create. You are a field, a radiating, broadcasting, receiving field of electromagnetic energy that extends into the space around you and interacts with every other field it encounters. This field, your heart field, your aura, your personal electromagnetic signature, is not passive. It is not just a byproduct of your heart's mechanical pumping. It carries information. It carries the pattern of your emotional state, your dominant thought frequencies, your nervous system's current coherence level, and something that the researchers at HeartMath describe as the emotional information encoded in the heart's rhythmic beating pattern. Your heart does not just pump blood, it broadcasts. It sends a signal into the quantum field that surrounds you, and that signal describes you. Not the you that you perform for the world, not the you that you think you should be, but the actual you, the frequency you are actually running at in any given moment. And the quantum field responds to that signal. This is where quantum physics becomes deeply personal. The quantum field, that vast, invisible substrate of potential from which all physical reality emerges, is not indifferent to your broadcast. It is responsive to it. The principle of quantum resonance tells us that fields of similar frequency tend to interact, to amplify each other, to draw toward each other. What you radiate, reality assembles around. Not as punishment, not as reward, as pure physics, as the natural, inevitable consequence of the signal you are sending. Most people radiate unconsciously. They broadcast the accumulated frequencies of their conditioning, the fear patterns laid down in childhood, the lack programs inherited from their family's relationship with scarcity, the unworthiness frequencies that were installed by every moment someone told them they were too much or not enough. These are not their true frequencies. These are the static, the interference patterns that have been layered over their actual signal. And because most people have never been shown what their aura is or how it works, they go through their entire lives broadcasting static, wondering why reality keeps delivering more of what they don't want. But tonight is different. Tonight, something in the quantum field is amplified. And the fact that you are here in this moment means your aura has already begun to respond to that amplification. You can feel it, can't you? That quality of aliveness in this moment. That sense that something is available that is not always available. That is not imagination. That is your electromagnetic signature resonating with the frequency of this threshold. Your aura knows. Your field knows. And now, your conscious mind is catching up. What we are touching right now, this recognition that your field has been broadcasting without your conscious awareness, that the signal has been active your entire life, is exactly where the remembering field, a quantum guide to returning to the light you forgot you were carrying, begins. And if you feel something opening in your chest at this realization, that is the doorway the book was written to walk you through completely. It takes you through all 7 movements, from unconscious broadcast to conscious, coherent radiance, grounded in the quantum mechanics of your actual electromagnetic field. It is linked in the pinned comment below. If this transmission is landing in your field, if you can feel the truth of what we are moving through together, please take a moment to like this video and subscribe so we can keep meeting at thresholds like this one. Let me tell you what a portal actually is, because this word gets used in spiritual communities in ways that are sometimes beautiful and sometimes vague, and you deserve precision. A portal, in quantum terms, is a convergence of conditions that creates a temporary window of reduced resistance in the field of potential. Think of it this way. Normally, the quantum field has a kind of baseline density, a default level of inertia that means change requires sustained effort, sustained frequency, sustained signal to penetrate the existing patterns and begin to reorganize reality around a new template. This is why transformation takes time. This is why you can have an insight, a revelation, a moment of genuine clarity, and then find that the old patterns reassert themselves. The field has inertia. Change requires overcoming that inertia. But periodically, and this is documented in everything from ancient astronomical traditions to modern research on collective human consciousness and global electromagnetic patterns, there are moments when that inertia is temporarily reduced, when the field becomes, for a window of time, more fluid, more responsive, more available to the signal of a conscious broadcaster. These are the moments when what normally takes months of sustained frequency work can happen in hours. When the seeds you plant in your energy field take root with extraordinary speed. When the signal you broadcast reaches further, resonates deeper, and returns to you with greater amplification than at any other time. Tonight is one of those moments, and I want to be precise about why. Because this is not mystical vagueness. This is the convergence of several measurable, documentable phenomena that together create the conditions for what the ancient traditions called a portal, and what the physics of resonance confirms is a genuine window of amplified field responsiveness. First, there is the electromagnetic environment. The Earth itself has an electromagnetic field, the Schumann resonance, that pulses at a base frequency of approximately 7.83 Hertz. This frequency is not coincidental. It is remarkably close to the frequency of human theta brainwaves, the state of deep meditative awareness, intuitive access, and what researchers call the hypnagogic threshold, the borderland between waking and sleep, where the deepest programming of the nervous system becomes accessible and malleable. When the Schumann resonance spikes, when the Earth's electromagnetic field intensifies, it creates a kind of carrier wave that amplifies the human energy field's capacity to receive and transmit. These spikes are measurable. They are real, and they occur in patterns that the ancient traditions mapped with extraordinary precision, even without the instruments we now have to confirm them. Second, there is the phenomenon of collective field coherence. Your aura does not exist in isolation. It exists in relationship with every other human energy field on the planet. When large numbers of people simultaneously direct their consciousness toward the same frequency, toward opening, toward receiving, toward conscious radiance, those fields interact and amplify each other. This is the quantum basis for what the traditions called prayer, what the Heart Math Institute calls global coherence, and what the Global Consciousness Project at Princeton University has been measuring for decades using a network of random number generators that show statistically significant deviation from randomness during moments of large-scale collective human attention. When enough people are tuned to the same frequency, the field itself becomes more coherent, more powerful, more responsive. And right now, in this moment, you are part of a field of people who have been drawn to this threshold, who are, in this moment, radiating together. Third, and this is the layer that the science is still catching up to, but that your own energy field already knows. There is what the ancient traditions called sacred timing, the understanding that reality moves in cycles, that the quantum field has rhythms, that certain moments in those rhythms carry a quality of opening that others do not. Every major wisdom tradition on earth, from the Vedic tradition's understanding of cosmic cycles to the Mayan calendar's mapping of time as a field of consciousness, rather than a linear sequence to the Kabbalistic tradition's understanding of sacred windows in the structure of reality. Every one of these traditions understood that time is not uniform, that some moments are thicker with potential than others, that there are nights when the membrane between what is and what could be becomes thin enough to step through. Tonight is one of those nights, and your aura, which is more ancient and more knowing than your thinking mind, has been preparing you for it. Now let me show you what your energy field has been doing, because this is the part most people never learn about their own aura, and it is the part that changes everything once you see it clearly. Your aura has 7 primary layers, and each layer corresponds to a different dimension of your experience and your broadcast. The first layer, the etheric body, extends 1 to 2 inches beyond your physical skin and carries the template of your physical vitality. The second layer, the emotional body, extends several inches further and carries the frequency of your dominant emotional patterns. The third layer, the mental body, extends further still and carries the frequency of your habitual thought patterns. The fourth layer, the astral body, is the layer of your relational field, the frequencies you carry in relationship to others and to life itself. The fifth, sixth, and seventh layers move into increasingly refined frequencies, the causal body, the celestial body, the Ketheric template, each one carrying a more essential dimension of who you actually are beneath the layers of conditioning. Most people's auras are primarily active in the first three layers: the etheric, the emotional, the mental. These are the layers closest to the physical, the layers most directly shaped by conditioning and survival programming, the layers where the static lives. And when you are primarily radiating from these layers, when your signal is being generated mostly by your conditioned emotional patterns and your habitual mental loops, you are broadcasting a frequency that is a mixture of your actual essence and the static that has been layered over it. But tonight's portal creates a specific kind of access. It opens a corridor through the outer layers of the aura, through the static, through the conditioning, through the survival programming, directly to the deeper layers. The fourth, fifth, sixth, and seventh layers. The layers where your actual frequency lives. The layers that carry the signal of who you genuinely are beneath everything that was laid over you. And what becomes available in this window is the possibility of a direct transmission from those deeper layers to your conscious awareness. A moment of genuine contact with the signal you were born broadcasting before the world told you to turn it down. This is what the traditions meant when they said the chosen ones hear God's voice. Not a literal auditory experience, though for some people it is exactly that, but a moment of contact with the deepest frequency of your own being. A transmission from the most coherent layer of your aura to the surface of your awareness. A message from your own light. And God, in the language of this channel, in the language of quantum energy fields and the physics of consciousness, God is not separate from you. God is the quantum field itself. The infinite, intelligent, responsive field of potential from which all reality emerges and to which your aura is constantly broadcasting. When we say, God said, we are saying the field spoke. The quantum responded. The deepest layer of reality sent a signal through the layers of your own energy field to the surface of your awareness. And what it said, what it has been saying through every synchronicity, every pull toward this moment, every quiet knowing that something is available, is this: you are ready. The time is now. Do not miss this. I want to tell you a story because the truth that lives in the quantum field has always transmitted itself through story. And there is a transmission available in what I am about to share that goes beyond the information it contains. There was a woman named Sarah. She had always been sensitive, the kind of person who felt the energy in a room before she walked into it, who knew things before she was told them, who had a quality of awareness that made some people feel seen and others feel slightly uncomfortable. She had spent most of her life managing this sensitivity rather than working with it, turning it down, making herself smaller, fitting herself into the frequency of whatever room she was in, rather than allowing her own frequency to fill the room. She had learned this strategy early. As a child, she had been the brightest light in a room that did not know how to hold that much brightness. Not because the people around her were unkind. They were simply operating at a different frequency, and her radiance, unmanaged and uncontained, was sometimes too much for the circuits around her. So she learned to dim. She learned to modulate. She learned to broadcast at a frequency that was comfortable for others, even when it was uncomfortable for her. By the time she was an adult, the dimming had become so automatic that she had almost forgotten she was doing it. She thought she was just quiet, just reserved, just someone who preferred to stay in the background. She did not remember that she had chosen the background as a survival strategy, not as an expression of who she actually was. Then one night, a night very much like tonight, she felt something shift. She was sitting alone, not doing anything in particular, not trying to meditate or practice or open herself to anything. She was just sitting. And in the silence, something in her energy field began to move. It was subtle at first, a kind of warmth in her chest, a quality of aliveness that she had not felt in years. Then it grew. The warmth spread from her chest, through her shoulders, down her arms, up through her throat, and into her head. And with it came something she could only describe as remembering. Not remembering a specific event or a specific piece of information. Remembering herself. Remembering the frequency she had been born with, before the dimming, before the strategy, before the management. She began to cry, not from sadness, from recognition, from the profound relief of feeling her own actual signal for the first time in decades. She had been broadcasting static for so long that she had forgotten what her real frequency felt like. And now, in this moment of unexpected opening, the static had cleared, and she could feel it again. Strong, clear, radiant, unmistakably, undeniably hers. The next morning, she woke up different, not dramatically different. She did not suddenly have a new life or a new set of circumstances, but she was different in the way that matters most, she was broadcasting a different signal. The static was not completely gone. That work takes time. But the real frequency was present in a way it had not been before. And the quantum field, which responds to signal with immediate and precise resonance, began to respond. Within days, things began to shift. People she had not heard from in years reached out. Opportunities appeared that had no logical explanation. A conversation she had been dreading turned unexpectedly warm and easy. A door she had given up on opened. Not because she had done anything different in the outer world, because she was broadcasting a different signal in the inner one. What she radiated, reality assembled around. Sarah did not know the science of what had happened to her. She did not have the language of electromagnetic fields and quantum resonance and heart coherence. She just knew that something had opened, something had come through, and nothing was quite the same afterward. What happened to Sarah that night was a portal, a moment of reduced resistance in the field of her own conditioning that allowed her actual frequency, the signal she had been born with, the broadcast of her deepest self, to surface. And the reason it happened when it did was not random. Her energy field had been building toward that threshold. Every moment of genuine feeling she had allowed, every moment of authentic connection she had risked, every time she had chosen her real frequency over the managed one, all of it had been building coherence in her field, building toward the moment when the threshold was crossed and the portal opened. Your field has been doing the same thing. Every moment of genuine feeling you have allowed, every time you chose truth over performance, every moment of authentic presence, authentic longing, authentic reaching toward something more real, all of it has been building. And tonight, the conditions are right for your threshold to be crossed. Have you ever had a moment like Sarah's? A moment when your own field suddenly felt unmistakably real to you? When the warmth in your chest rose up without warning and you recognized yourself in it? I would love to hear about it in the comments. Tell me about a time when you felt your aura shift, when something in your energy moved and the world around you responded. Your experience matters, and sharing it adds to the luminosity of this field we are building together. This is the moment I want to bring you into a practice, because understanding what your aura is and how it works is powerful. But feeling it, activating it consciously, directing it intentionally, opening it to receive what tonight's portal is making available, that is where the real work happens. that is where the transformation lives. Not in the knowing, but in the being. Not in the understanding, but in the radiating. So I am going to ask you to do something right now. Not later. Not when you feel ready. Now. Because the portal is open in this moment. And the practice I am about to guide you through is designed to work specifically with the quality of opening that is available tonight. Find a comfortable position. You can be sitting or lying down. Whatever allows your body to be at ease without falling asleep. If you are sitting, let your spine be long and your shoulders soft. If you are lying down, let your arms rest slightly away from your body, palms facing up. Close your eyes if that feels right, or soften your gaze toward the floor in front of you. Take one breath, just one, to begin. A breath that is slightly longer than your normal breath, not forced, not controlled, just gently extended. Let the exhale be slow and complete. And as you exhale, feel your body release its grip on whatever it has been holding. The tension in your jaw, the tightness in your shoulders, the subtle bracing in your belly. Let it go with the breath. Now bring your attention to your heart. Not your thoughts about your heart, not your analysis of what you are feeling, just your awareness resting in the center of your chest. Notice what is there. Whatever is there. Warmth, tightness, aliveness, numbness, longing, gratitude, grief, whatever is in your heart right now, let it be there without trying to change it. Your heart is already broadcasting this frequency. We are not trying to manufacture a feeling. We are becoming conscious of the signal that is already transmitting. Now, as you rest your awareness in your heart, I want you to imagine, or simply intend, if imagining feels effortful, that your heart field is expanding, that the electromagnetic field generated by your heart is growing, extending outward from your chest in all directions, forward and backward, left and right, up and down, growing until it fills your body, growing until it extends beyond your skin, growing until it fills the room around you, growing until it extends several feet beyond the walls of the room, reaching into the space around you in every direction. This is not imagination. This is actually happening. Your heart field already extends this far. You are simply becoming conscious of what is already there. You are directing your awareness to the field that your heart has been generating your entire life. And in doing so, you are beginning to consciously participate in what has previously been happening without your awareness. Feel your field. Feel the space it occupies. Feel the warmth of it, the aliveness of it, the particular quality that is uniquely yours. No one else's field feels exactly like yours. No one else broadcasts exactly your frequency. This is your signature. This is your aura. This is the electromagnetic presence that you carry into every room, every relationship, every moment of your life. Now I want you to set an intention into this field. Not a wish, not a hope. An intention, a clear, precise, energetically charged direction for your field to move in. Something you are ready to receive. Something you are ready to become. Something you are ready to release. Whatever is most alive for you in this moment, whatever has been pulling at your awareness, whatever you have been reaching toward or moving away from, bring it into your heart field now. Not as a thought, as a frequency, as a felt sense of what you are calling in or what you are releasing. Let your heart encode it into the signal your field is broadcasting. Feel that. Feel the difference between your field before the intention and your field now, with the intention encoded. There is a quality of direction to it now, a sense of coherence, of your field organizing itself around a clear signal, rather than broadcasting in all directions at once. This is what the HeartMath Institute calls heart coherence, the state in which your heart's electromagnetic field becomes organized, rhythmic, and powerfully directional. And in this state, your broadcast reaches further, resonates deeper, and returns to you with greater amplification. Stay here for a moment. Just breathe. Just feel your field. Just let the intention settle into the fabric of your aura. Let it become part of your broadcast. And now, as you hold this coherent state, I want you to open to receive. Because a portal is a two-way threshold. You are broadcasting into it, yes, but it is also broadcasting into you. The quantum field, in this moment of amplified responsiveness, is sending a signal back. It is always sending a signal back. That is the nature of resonance, the nature of the quantum exchange. But in this window of reduced resistance, that return signal is stronger, clearer, and more accessible to your conscious awareness. So open, not by trying, by allowing, by creating space in your awareness for something to arrive, a feeling, an image, a word or phrase that rises from somewhere beneath your thinking, a knowing that lands without explanation, a sense of direction, a sense of peace, a sense of being held by something larger than your individual field. Whatever arrives, trust it. Your aura is receiving it. Your field knows how to process it. Your job in this moment is simply to be present for the transmission. Take as long as you need here. There is no rush. The portal does not close the moment you stop reading these words. It is open. You are in it. Stay with what you are receiving for as long as it is flowing. And when you are ready, when you feel complete with this first layer of the practice, take a breath that fills your whole chest. Let it out slowly. Feel your body on the surface beneath you. Feel the edges of your physical form, and know that what just happened in your energy field was real. The intention you encoded into your aura is now broadcasting. The signal you received is now integrating. The work is done, even if you cannot yet see its effects in the outer world. What you radiate, reality assembles around, and you just became a more conscious radiator. Now let me take you deeper, because there is another layer to what is happening tonight that most people who encounter this kind of transmission never fully receive. And it has to do with what it actually means to be chosen. Not in the religious sense, not in the sense of being selected and elevated above others, but in the quantum sense, in the sense that matters for your actual life, your actual field, your actual capacity to work with the energy available in this portal. In quantum physics, there is a principle called quantum selection. It refers to the way that certain states of a quantum system become available only under specific conditions. Only when the system has reached a particular level of coherence, a particular configuration of energy, a particular alignment of its internal variables. Below that threshold, those states are not accessible, not because they do not exist, but because the system has not yet organized itself in a way that allows access to them. But when the threshold is crossed, when the coherence reaches the required level, those states become suddenly completely available, as if a door that was always there has simply opened. This is what it means to be chosen in the quantum sense. It does not mean you were selected by an external authority. It means your energy field has crossed a threshold of coherence that makes certain states, certain levels of access, certain qualities of reception, certain dimensions of your own radiance suddenly available in a way they were not before. The door was always there. Your field has simply reached the coherence level required to open it. And here is what is extraordinary about tonight. The conditions in the quantum field right now are such that the threshold for this kind of selection is temporarily lower. The reduced resistance in the field, the portal, means that fields that are close to the threshold, fields that have been building toward it, fields that carry the genuine frequency of readiness, even if they have not yet fully crossed the line, those fields are being carried across the threshold by the amplification of this window. The portal is doing some of the work for you. Not all of it. You still have to be present. You still have to be conscious. You still have to be actively working with your field, as you just did in the practice. But the quantum field is meeting you more than halfway tonight. This is why you were told not to miss this. Not because missing it would be a catastrophe. The quantum field does not punish, does not judge, does not withhold love. But because this level of amplification, this quality of opening, this particular configuration of conditions that makes the threshold accessible in this way, it does not come every day. It does not come every month. And your field, which has been building toward this moment, deserves the full benefit of what this window offers. So let us talk about what you are being chosen for. Because being chosen is not an end state. It is a beginning. It is an activation. It is the moment when the field recognizes your coherence and responds by opening a level of access that was previously unavailable. And what becomes available through that access is not just a feeling of expanded awareness, not just a beautiful experience of your own light, though those things are real and they are part of it. What becomes available is a new level of creative and protective power in your own energy field. Let me explain what I mean by creative power first. Your aura at high coherence is not just a receiver. It is a creator. The electromagnetic field generated by your heart, when it reaches a state of genuine coherence, when the static is cleared and your actual frequency is broadcasting cleanly, does not just resonate with existing reality. It begins to participate in the creation of new reality. This is the quantum basis for what the traditions called prayer, manifestation, co-creation with the divine. Not wishful thinking, not magical thinking, the actual, measurable, physics-based process by which a coherent electromagnetic field interacts with the quantum field of potential and begins to collapse probability waves into specific, desired outcomes. The quantum field does not exist in a single fixed state. It exists as a field of superposed possibilities. Every possible configuration of reality existing simultaneously in a state of potential, waiting for observation, for interaction, for the signal of a coherent consciousness to cause a specific possibility to collapse into actuality. This is the measurement problem in quantum mechanics. The fact that the act of observation affects the state of what is being observed. And your aura, at high coherence, is a powerful observer. It interacts with the quantum field of possibility in a way that influences which possibilities collapse into your experience. This is not a metaphor. This is not a spiritual interpretation of quantum physics that the physicists would disown. This is the logical extension of what quantum mechanics actually describes, applied to the scale of human consciousness and human energy fields. Your coherent aura participates in the collapse of quantum possibility into your personal reality. What you radiate, reality assembles around. Not because the universe is a wish-granting machine, because the physics of resonance and quantum collapse are real, and your energy field is a genuine participant in those physics. And the protective power, this is the layer that most people in the world of energy work underemphasize, and it is critically important, especially in this moment when the field is amplified and therefore more responsive to every frequency, including the ones you do not want to amplify. Your aura at high coherence is not just a creative instrument. It is a protective field. A coherent energy field does not just attract what resonates with it. It also repels what does not. Not through effort, not through vigilance, not through the exhausting work of trying to defend yourself from every difficult energy in your environment, but through the simple, effortless physics of resonance. Mismatch. When your field is coherent, when you are broadcasting your actual frequency cleanly without the static of fear and conditioning and unworthiness, the frequencies that would harm you, drain you, manipulate you, or diminish you simply do not find purchase in your field. They cannot attach to what they cannot resonate with. This is why people who have done the work of clearing their aura and raising their coherence often describe a quality of ease in their lives that they cannot fully explain. Difficult people seem to drift away from them. Difficult situations seem to resolve themselves. The kind of drama and chaos that used to find them constantly seems to stop finding them. It is not luck. It is not that they have become more skilled at avoiding difficult things. It is that their coherent field has become naturally, effortlessly protective. The frequency mismatch between their actual signal and the frequencies of harm and drama means those things simply do not stick. Tonight's portal amplifies both of these capacities. Your creative power and your protective power are both heightened in this window, which means that the work you do with your field tonight, the intentions you set, the frequencies you consciously choose to broadcast, the static you release, the coherence you build, will have an amplified effect on both what you draw toward you and what naturally falls away from you. The seeds you plant in your field tonight will take root with unusual speed. The patterns you release tonight will release more completely than they would on an ordinary night. The coherence you build tonight will persist and compound in ways that ordinary field work does not. This is why God said not to miss this. This is why the transmission came to you. This is why your field, which has been building toward this threshold, has been drawing this moment toward you. Because the work you do tonight matters in a way that ordinary moments do not. Not because you will not have other opportunities, but because this particular configuration of amplification, this particular quality of opening, is a gift. And the part of you that knows, the part that felt the pull toward this video, the part that recognized something in the title, the part that has been feeling the building of something in your field for days or weeks or months, that part of you knew enough to show up. You showed up. That is already a form of choosing. That is already a form of coherence. That is already your aura doing what an awakening aura does, navigating toward the frequencies that serve its evolution, even before the conscious mind fully understands why. Now I want to go deeper into the mechanics of what happens to your aura when you pass through a portal like this one. Because the experience of it is one thing. The warmth, the expansion, the sense of contact with something larger than your ordinary self. But understanding the mechanics is what allows you to work with it deliberately, to sustain what opens tonight, rather than having it gradually close as the ordinary conditions of your life reassert themselves. When your energy field crosses a coherence threshold, when the portal opens and your aura accesses a deeper layer of its own radiance, several things happen simultaneously. First, your heart rate variability changes. This is measurable. Heart rate variability, the variation in the time interval between heartbeats, is one of the most reliable indicators of nervous system coherence and overall health. In a state of stress, fear, or emotional reactivity, heart rate variability decreases and becomes irregular. In a state of genuine heart coherence, the state that portal experiences produce, heart rate variability increases and becomes rhythmically organized. Your heart literally begins to beat in a more coherent, more organized, more powerful pattern. And because your heart field is generated by this beating, the field itself becomes more coherent, more organized, more powerful. Second, your brain wave patterns shift. The deep heart coherence that portal experiences produce tends to move brain wave activity from the beta range, the ordinary waking state of analytical, sequential thinking, toward alpha and theta. Alpha waves are associated with calm, open, receptive awareness. Theta waves are associated with deep intuition, creative insight, and what researchers call the hypnagogic state, the threshold between waking and sleep, where the deepest layers of the nervous system become accessible. In theta, the brain is in a state of extraordinary receptivity. The filters that normally screen out subtle information are relaxed. The patterns that normally dominate awareness, the habitual thoughts, the conditioned responses, the survival programs, are quieted. And in that quieted space, the deeper layers of your aura can communicate with your conscious awareness. This is the neurological mechanism of the transmission. This is how God speaks through the field, through the quieting of the noise that normally drowns out the signal. Third, and this is the layer that most people never hear about, your aura's interaction with other fields changes. In ordinary states of consciousness, your energy field interacts with the fields around you primarily through the outer layers, the etheric and emotional bodies, which are most directly shaped by your immediate environment and your conditioned responses to it. But in the coherent state produced by a portal experience, your field begins to interact from its deeper layers, from the astral body, the causal body, the celestial body. And these deeper layers interact with the world in a fundamentally different way. They do not respond to the surface frequencies of situations and people. They resonate with the deeper frequencies, the essential qualities, the genuine intentions, the underlying patterns. People in this state often describe a quality of seeing through things, of perceiving the essential nature of a situation or a person rather than its surface presentation. This is not supernatural. It is the natural result of your field interacting from a deeper layer of itself. And the most important thing about this shift, the thing that makes it transformational rather than just experiential, is that once your field has accessed these deeper layers, it does not forget. The nervous system records the experience. The heart field carries the memory of the coherence. And while the ordinary conditions of life will inevitably pull at that coherence, trying to return your field to its habitual patterns, the fact that you have accessed the deeper layers means you now know the way back. You have a felt sense of what your actual frequency feels like, distinct from the static. And that felt sense becomes a compass, a reference point, a way of knowing in any given moment whether you are broadcasting your real signal or the static. This is the gift of the portal, not just the opening itself, but the memory it leaves in your field, the knowing it installs in your nervous system, the compass it gives you for navigating back to your own radiance whenever you drift. Have you ever walked into a room and felt the energy shift? Felt people respond to something in you before you had said a word? Or perhaps there was a season of your life when your light seemed to attract exactly what it needed. When doors opened and people leaned toward you, and something in your field was simply alive in a way that others could feel. Drop a moment like that in the comments. I read everyone, and your story may be exactly the reminder someone else needs that their own field is just as real and just as powerful. Let me come back to you now, because I want to speak directly to what you have been carrying, the weight of it, the particular quality of difficulty that has been present in your life in the period leading up to this moment. Because I want you to understand something about that weight, something that changes everything about how you relate to it. The difficulty you have been experiencing, the challenges, the frustrations, the places where life has felt stuck or heavy or unclear, has not been happening to you. It has been happening for you. Not in the toxic positivity sense of everything happens for a reason, and therefore you should not feel the pain of it. But in the quantum mechanical sense that your field has been using the friction of difficulty to build coherence, the same way that a muscle builds strength through resistance, your energy field builds coherence through the navigation of difficulty. Every moment you have chosen to stay open when you wanted to close. Every moment you have chosen to keep reaching towards something real when the easier thing would have been to settle for the familiar. Every moment of genuine feeling you have allowed when numbness would have been more comfortable. All of it has been building your field toward this threshold. The difficulty was not a sign that you were doing something wrong. It was a sign that your field was doing something right, building toward a level of coherence that makes tonight's portal not just available, but transformational for you specifically. The pressure you have been feeling was the pressure of a field building toward a threshold. And tonight, the threshold is here. This is what it means when the transmission says, God said not to miss this. It is not a warning. It is an affirmation. It is the quantum field speaking through every channel available to it, through the pull you felt toward this video, through the timing of this moment in your life, through the quality of readiness you can feel in your own field right now, saying, everything you have been building toward has led here. This is the moment the threshold opens. Be present for it. Be conscious for it. Do not sleepwalk through it. You are not sleepwalking. You are here. You are awake, and your field is active. Let me bring you into the second layer of the practice now, because the first practice was about opening your field and setting your intention into it. This second practice is about something different, about releasing, about clearing the static so that your actual frequency can broadcast more cleanly. Because a portal amplifies everything in your field, not just the frequencies you want to amplify. And if you carry patterns of fear, lack, or unworthiness into this amplified window without consciously releasing them, those patterns will also be amplified. Which is why the work of clearing is just as important as the work of opening. Come back to your body. Take a breath. Feel the surface beneath you. Feel the weight of your physical form. Feel your heart beating in your chest, that steady, faithful rhythm that has been generating your electromagnetic field every moment of your life without ever asking for your attention or your gratitude. Now I want you to bring to mind one pattern, just one, the one that has been most persistent, the one that keeps showing up in your life in different costumes, but with the same essential frequency. The pattern of not enough, or the pattern of not safe, or the pattern of not deserving, or the pattern of being too much. Whatever it is, you know what it is. It has been with you long enough that you recognize its particular flavor, its particular way of tightening in your chest, or your throat, or your belly. Bring it to mind, not to analyze it, not to judge it, not to try to fix it, just to see it clearly, to acknowledge it as a pattern, a frequency that has been part of your broadcast, not because it is true, but because it was installed at a time when it served a survival function. At some point in your life, this pattern was a strategy. It helped you navigate a situation that felt dangerous or overwhelming or impossible. It was your field doing what it needed to do to keep you safe. And then it became automatic. It became part of the static. It kept broadcasting long after the situation that created it had passed, because patterns in the energy field do not dissolve on their own. They require conscious attention, conscious release, conscious replacement with a more accurate frequency. So right now, in this moment, with the portal open and the field amplified, I want you to offer this pattern to the quantum field for transformation, not by fighting it, not by trying to force it out of your aura, but by simply acknowledging what it is, a pattern, not a truth, and then consciously choosing to release your investment in it, to stop broadcasting it as if it were real, to withdraw the energy that has been feeding it. Place your hand on your heart. Feel the warmth of your own touch and say, either aloud or silently, in whatever way feels most true, say, I release this pattern. It served me once. It does not serve me now. I release it to the field for transformation. I reclaim the energy that was feeding it. I return it to my actual frequency. Feel that. Feel the subtle shift in your field as you withdraw your investment from the pattern. It may not disappear completely. Deep patterns take sustained work to fully clear. But in this moment, in this portal, you have begun the process of reclamation. You have started to take back the energy that was maintaining the static. And that energy, returned to your actual frequency, increases your coherence, increases the power of your broadcast, increases the clarity of the signal you are sending into the quantum field. Your aura is cleaner now than it was when you started this video. That is not a metaphor. That is a measurable change in the electromagnetic signature of your field. The work you are doing right now is real, and it has real effects. Now, let us talk about what comes after the portal, because this is the part that determines whether tonight's opening becomes a genuine turning point in your life, or a beautiful experience that gradually fades as the ordinary conditions of your life reassert themselves. The portal opens. The threshold is crossed. The coherence is built. And then what? The answer is integration, the process by which what opened in the portal becomes woven into the fabric of your daily field. Not just a peak experience, but a new baseline. Not just a moment of contact with your deeper frequency, but a permanent raising of your habitual broadcast level. And integration does not happen automatically. It requires conscious, deliberate attention in the days following a portal experience. Here is what integration looks like in practice. In the 24 to 72 hours following tonight, your field will be in a state of heightened plasticity. The patterns that were released will still be in the process of clearing. The new coherence that was built will still be settling into your nervous system. The intention you set into your field will still be actively organizing your broadcast. And during this window, the choices you make about how you treat your field will have an outsized effect on whether the opening deepens and stabilizes or gradually closes. The most important thing you can do in this integration window is to protect your field's coherence. Not through vigilance or defensiveness that would create its own kind of static, but through conscious, loving attention to the frequencies you allow into your field during this tender, plastic period. This means being intentional about what you consume. The media, the conversations, the environments you move through. Not because the world is dangerous and you need to hide from it, but because your field is in the process of stabilizing at a new level of coherence, and the frequencies of fear, drama, and reactivity that dominate so much of ordinary life are the exact frequencies that will most readily pull your field back toward its old patterns if you expose yourself to them before the new coherence has had time to set. Think of it like a bone that has been set after a fracture. The healing is real. The alignment is correct. But the bone needs time to knit before it can bear full weight. You would not immediately go back to the activity that caused the fracture. You would give the healing process the time and protection it needs to complete. Your field is the same. Give it the next 24 to 72 hours of gentle, conscious, protective attention, and watch what happens. The second element of integration is return. The practice of returning each day to the felt sense of coherence that you accessed in the portal. Not trying to recreate the peak experience. That is not the point. And chasing peak experiences is its own form of field disturbance. But returning to the felt sense of your actual frequency, the quality of warmth and aliveness in your heart field that you touched in the practice earlier. Spending even 5 minutes each day in that felt sense, breathing into it, expanding it, letting it fill your field before you step into the activity of your day, will compound the coherence you built tonight, will make the new baseline permanent rather than temporary, will ensure that the portal's gift is not just a memory, but a living, active upgrade to your daily broadcast. And the third element of integration is action. Not frantic, anxious action driven by the fear that you will miss the window, but the specific, aligned action that arises naturally from your new coherence. Because when your field reaches a new level of clarity, it tends to show you the next step very clearly. Not the whole path. The quantum field does not work that way, but the next step, the conversation to have, the decision to make, the thing to release, the thing to begin. Whatever that next step is for you, whatever has been becoming clearer as you have moved through this transmission, act on it. Not because the universe requires action as proof of your sincerity, but because action, aligned with your coherent field, sends the clearest possible signal to the quantum field about what you are calling in. It collapses the probability wave. It makes the potential actual. What you radiate, reality assembles around. And when your radiance includes the frequency of aligned action, when your broadcast includes not just the intention, but the movement toward it, the quantum field responds with extraordinary speed. I want to speak now to those of you who have been here before, who have felt this quality of opening before, in a meditation, in a moment of grace, in a conversation that changed everything, in a night like this one, and who have watched it fade, who have crossed the threshold and then found themselves weeks or months later back on the familiar side of it, wondering what happened to the light they had touched. This is for you. The light did not leave. Your aura did not lose its coherence permanently. What happened was that the integration was incomplete, not through any failure on your part, but because you were not given the tools to sustain what opened. Because nobody told you about the 24 to 72 hour window. Nobody told you about the return practice. Nobody told you that the coherence needs to be tended in the days after the portal, the way a new flame needs to be sheltered from the wind. You were given the opening, but not the integration. And so the old patterns, which are patient and persistent and deeply grooved in the nervous system, gradually reasserted themselves. The static came back. The frequency dropped. And you were left with the memory of what you had touched and the ache of not knowing how to get back there. Tonight is different. Tonight, you have the tools. Tonight, you know about the integration window. Tonight, you know about the return practice. Tonight, you know that the coherence you build is not fragile. It is the most real thing about you, and that the work of sustaining it is not about heroic effort, but about simple, daily, loving attention to your own field. You have not failed at this before. You were not given the full picture before. Now you have it. And the part of you that has been reaching toward this, the part that kept coming back, kept looking, kept feeling the pull toward something more real. That part of you knew that the full picture was available. It kept reaching until it found it. That reaching is your aura doing what awakening auras do, navigating toward the frequencies that serve their evolution, refusing to settle for the static when the real signal is available, broadcasting the frequency of genuine seeking so consistently and so powerfully that the quantum field eventually, inevitably, delivered exactly what was being sought. You found this. Your field found this. That is not luck. That is quantum resonance in action. That is the physics of what you radiate. Reality assembles around, working precisely as it is designed to work. I want to take a moment now to acknowledge something that does not get acknowledged enough in spaces like this one. The courage it takes to stay open. The courage it takes to keep reaching toward something real when the evidence of the outer world is not yet confirming what your inner field knows. The courage it takes to keep your aura active and receptive. When the easier thing, the more comfortable thing, the thing that hurts less in the short term, would be to close down, to protect yourself, to stop broadcasting and stop receiving. You have been doing that. You have been staying open, even in the difficult periods, especially in the difficult periods. Some part of you has kept the signal alive, kept the frequency of genuine seeking active in your field, kept reaching toward the light even when you could not see it clearly. And that reaching, that sustained, faithful, sometimes exhausting, sometimes exhilarating act of keeping your field open and active, that is what has built you to this threshold. That is what has brought you here. It takes courage to be a conscious radiator in a world that is mostly broadcasting unconsciously. It takes courage to hold your frequency when the frequencies around you are pulling hard in the direction of fear and scarcity and smallness. It takes courage to keep your heart field coherent when the world keeps giving you reasons to close it. And you have been doing that. Imperfectly. We all do it imperfectly, because perfection is not the point, and never was. But genuinely, faithfully, with a quality of persistence that the quantum field recognizes and responds to. Your field knows what you have been through to get here. Your aura carries the record of every moment of genuine reaching, every act of faith in the face of uncertainty, every choice to stay open when closing felt safer. And that record is not a burden. It is a testimony. It is the evidence of a field that has been building coherence for exactly this moment. You have earned this portal, not through suffering. The universe does not require suffering as payment, but through the sustained, faithful work of keeping your frequency alive, of refusing to fully dim your light, even when the world gave you every reason to. Your light is on. It has always been on. And tonight, it is brighter than it has ever been. Let me bring you to the final practice of this transmission, the one that seals what has opened tonight, that takes the coherence you have built, the intention you have set, the pattern you have released, and weaves them together into a single, clear, powerful broadcast that you will carry with you when you step back into the ordinary world. Come back to your heart. Come back to the warmth there. Come back to the felt sense of your field. That expansive, alive, radiating presence that extends beyond your body in every direction. Feel it. Feel the particular quality of it right now, after everything you have moved through in this transmission. Notice how it is different from when you began, not just in content, in texture, in density, in power. Your field is more coherent now than it was when you started. Your broadcast is cleaner. Your signal is stronger. Now I want you to take that signal, that coherent, clear, powerful broadcast of your actual frequency, and consciously direct it forward into your future, into the next 24 hours, into the next week, the next month, the next phase of your life. Not by trying to control what happens, not by trying to force specific outcomes, but by broadcasting the frequency of what you are ready to receive, what you are ready to become, what you are ready to release into the past where it belongs. Feel your field reaching forward. Feel the intention you set earlier, the one that lives in your heart, encoded in your electromagnetic signature. Feel it broadcasting forward into the quantum field of your future. Feel the quantum field responding. Feel the subtle reorganization of possibility around your signal. Feel the probability waves beginning to collapse in the direction of what your coherent field is calling in. This is creation. This is the quantum creative power of a conscious, coherent aura working with an amplified field. This is what the portal makes available, and you are doing it right now, in this moment. Take a breath, let the intention settle, let the broadcast stabilize, let the quantum field receive what you are sending. And now, gently, slowly, without losing the coherence you have built, begin to bring your awareness back to the surface, back to the room you are in, back to the body you inhabit, back to the ordinary world, which is about to receive a version of you that is broadcasting a cleaner, clearer, more powerful signal than the one you were broadcasting when you arrived here. Feel your hands, feel your feet, feel the weight of your body on the surface beneath you. Take a breath that fills your whole chest. Let it out completely. Open your eyes. You are back. But you are not the same as when you left. Your field has changed. Your broadcast has changed. Your relationship to your own radiance has changed. And the quantum field, which is always, in every moment, assembling reality around your signal, has already begun to respond. If this transmission found someone who needed it, a friend, a partner, someone you know who has been quietly dimming their light, consider returning to this in the stillness of a morning before the day begins, or in the quiet before sleep when the field is most open and receptive. Those are the moments when this kind of work lands deepest. And if you feel called to share it, know that doing so is not a small thing. Sharing this with someone whose light needs reminding creates a genuine ripple of radiance. It activates their awareness of their own field. And when two fields resonate around the same frequency of opening, both are strengthened. That is not sentiment. That is the physics of resonance. You would be contributing directly to the collective luminosity. I want to leave you with something to carry, not just a feeling, though the feeling is real and it matters, but a principle, a quantum truth that you can return to whenever the static starts to reassert itself, whenever the old patterns start to pull, whenever you feel yourself drifting from the coherence you built tonight. The principle is this: you do not need to become radiant. You need to stop dimming the radiance that is already there. The light is not something you build from scratch. It is not something you earn through sufficient spiritual effort, or sufficient personal growth, or sufficient suffering. It is something you are, something you have always been. The electromagnetic field generated by your heart is radiance, literal, measurable, physical radiance. The signal your aura broadcasts is real. The frequency you carry is real. The light that people feel when they are in your presence, that warmth, that aliveness, that quality of being seen and held and recognized, that is your actual field. That is your electromagnetic signature. That is you, in the most literal, most quantum, most undeniable sense. The work is not to build the light. The work is to stop blocking it, to clear the static, to release the patterns that are interfering with the clean broadcast of your actual frequency. To practice daily the return to coherence, the felt sense of your real signal, so that the static has less and less purchase in your field, and the real frequency has more and more room to radiate. That is the work, and it is not heroic work. It is not dramatic work. It is quiet, daily, loving work. The work of returning to your heart. The work of noticing when you are broadcasting fear and gently choosing to return to your actual frequency. The work of tending your field the way you would tend something precious, with attention, with care, with the understanding that what you are tending is the most powerful, creative, and protective instrument you possess. Your aura is active. Your light is conscious. Your signal is clear. You came here tonight because your field drew you here. Because something in your energy field recognized the frequency of this portal and navigated toward it. Because your aura, which is more ancient and more knowing than your thinking mind, understood that this threshold was relevant to your path and made sure you arrived at it. That is not small. That is the quantum intelligence of your own field working on your behalf. That is your aura doing what a coherent, awakening aura does, navigating toward the frequencies that serve its evolution, drawing toward you the exact transmissions, the exact experiences, the exact moments of opening that your path requires. Trust that navigation. Trust your field. Trust the fact that you are here in this moment, having crossed this threshold, with a cleaner broadcast and a clearer signal and a more conscious relationship with your own radiance than you had before. The portal is open. You are in it, and you have done the work to receive what it is offering. Now carry it forward, not with effort, not with striving, but with the simple, luminous certainty of someone who has touched their own actual frequency and knows the way back to it. Someone who understands that what they radiate, reality assembles around. Someone who has chosen, consciously, deliberately, with full awareness of what they are choosing, to be a conscious radiator in a world that needs exactly that. You are chosen, not by an external authority that selected you above others, but by the quantum logic of your own field, which has reached the coherence level required to access this level of the work, which has built, through every moment of genuine reaching and faithful staying open and courageous choosing of the real over the comfortable, exactly the level of radiance required to pass through this threshold. You were always going to be here. Your field has been navigating toward this moment your entire life. Every experience that built your sensitivity, every difficulty that built your coherence, every moment of genuine connection that opened your heart field wider, every night of reaching toward something you could not yet see. All of it has been the quantum field assembling the conditions for this moment, for this threshold, for this opening. And now you are through it. Welcome to your own light. The work does not end here. It begins here. It begins with the return practice tomorrow morning. It begins with the conscious protection of your field's coherence in the integration window. It begins with the aligned action that arises from your clearer signal. It begins with the daily, loving, faithful practice of returning to your heart field and letting it broadcast what it actually is, rather than what the conditioning has layered over it. But the threshold has been crossed. The portal has been entered. The coherence has been built. And the quantum field, which is always, in every moment, assembling reality around the signal you are broadcasting, has received a new signal tonight. A cleaner signal, a more powerful signal, a signal that more accurately represents who you actually are. What you radiate, reality assembles around. And you have just raised the frequency of your radiance. Your aura is active. Your light is on. It has always been on. And now, finally, consciously, with full awareness of what you are and what you carry and what your field is capable of, now you know it. Shine. Not because you should, not because someone told you to, not because it will get you something or prove something, or earn you something. Shine because that is what you are. Because the electromagnetic field generated by your heart is light, literal, measurable, quantum mechanical light. And it has been radiating since the moment your heart began to beat. Because the radiance that people feel when they are in your presence is not a performance, and not an accident, and not something you manufactured. It is your actual signal, your real frequency. The truth of what you are broadcasting when the static is cleared and the conditioning is quiet and the real you is present. You have been glowing your whole life. You just needed someone to show it back to you. Consider this your mirror. Consider this your confirmation. Consider this the quantum field speaking through every channel available to it, saying to you clearly and without reservation, you are radiant. Your light is real. Your field is powerful. Your signal matters. And the moment you became conscious of it, this moment, right now, the moment you are in, everything about what reality can deliver to you changed. Welcome to your own radiance. Welcome to your conscious broadcast. Welcome to the extraordinary, ordinary, quantum mechanical miracle of being a field of light that knows itself. Your aura is active. Your light is conscious. Your signal is clear. Go radiate.